Hello Ghoulies and Beasties, it's me Anastasia coming back to you with another tutorial. Today we're going to make horns. And when I say horns, I mean horns. And we're going to use what we got around the house. I'm very big about taking what you have and making something from it. Don't forget your witch juice. So we're going to use this cracker box to make these horns for a look I am working on. It might be noticeable who the character is later on as I continue to build them. So what we're going to do first is cut these segments apart because I want specifically the shorter ones. And then I'm going to cut these little flangey bits off, and we are going to see how big they are. When I originally started to roll it up, I figured that I would need both of these. However, you're going to see me take it off camera, and I'm going to put it up against my head and realize it is way too tall. So I'm going to mark where I'm going to cut off some of the excess, and then I'm going to mark a line down the center where I'm going to cut it in half. And then I'm going to fold that again to get a more clear line all the way through. If you have a ruler, you can use that too. I just didn't feel like getting up, and I wanted to, get it done. So I'm going to cut this in half. And I'm going to cut that little flangey bit off. Fold it again, put it up against my head. I'm going to make it a little bit skinnier just because I want it to be a little bit shorter, just because I am going to build it up with the hot glue. These little silicone bits are a lifesaver for avoiding burnt fingertips if you deal with hot glue a lot. So I would definitely say invest in getting some, girl. We're going to glue these pieces together. And then I'm going to see approximately if they're the same size. They don't have to be even just because these are going to be more organic, and not all organic things are completely identical. I'm then going to take each one after I take those silicone bits off, and I'm going to trace out the top and bottom shapes for each of them. If you're a better organizer than me, then you'll probably be able to keep up with this step. I ended up forgetting which piece goes to where, so I ended up trimming these down as I was gluing them on anyways. And I thought I would be able to fit 4 circles on there, but I was wrong. So I had to use another piece, but that's fine. That's what the cracker box is there for. If you don't have a cracker box, like the horns that you see in the background, you can use toilet paper rolls. I just saved up the ones after they got used. Or you could use pizza boxes. You could use literally any kind of thin cardboard that you have lying around. Like if something just got finished being used, go ahead and take it. It's a great way to reduce, reuse, and recycle. So we might have cold hearts, but we love this planet for as long as it's gonna last. As you see, I'm trimming it down, trying to size it up to each one. And then I'm gluing around the base circle and sticking that down. As you see with that one, I glued that on the wrong side, but since that's gonna be the back that's against the wig, I'm not really worried about the print showing. But all the other pieces, you wanna make sure that if your cardboard does have a print, that it's facing inside. So that way whenever you prime and paint it, you do not have to worry about the print of the box coming through your paint, because sometimes that can happen depending on how expensive or inexpensive your paint is. I'm gonna trim that to make sure it fits as snugly as possible. And as you see, I'm gonna cut a little bit off the cylinder because that one was a little bit uneven. And then I'm gonna glue around that again and just do what I did to the other pieces, honestly. It's really, as you see, I got cardboard in my witch juice. So be cautious of where the cardboard flies. Sometimes it can fly in your drink, in your food, in your eye. So yeah, take some safety precautions if you're cutting something very rigid and you're afraid it's gonna snap back in your face. Just wear some safety goggles. I did cut off screen to draw the detail that I'm wanting. The character that I have has a grain in their horns, so that's what the straight lines are. And I'm going ahead and drawing in some cracks and crevices as well that are just in the horns. I'm then gonna build that up using my hot glue gun. Now hot glue is gonna make this a lot heavier, but since I am using heavy duty magnets later on when I finish these horns to attach them to the wig, I'm not worried about it. And plus I want there to be a little bit of heft so that way I can feel where the horns are throughout the day that I'm wearing these. You wanna do this in layers, just that way you get a nice buildup of texture. Because if you just try to do all the texture all at once, the hot glue is just gonna all melt into each other. So you want to make sure that your layers dry completely in between each step, and then go back and add a second layer or a third layer, however many layers you desire, honestly. I'm then going to go in and trace out each of the cracks and crevices that I want distinctly to be within the horns. And then I'm going to go back in and add in more of those lines in the grains that I drew in. I would say you could also just paint this on, but I wanted that extra 3D element in there. And then I'm gonna go around the ridge and also melt the glue down into the base of the horn, just so that way it blends a lot better and, you know, doesn't look like cardboard. Comment down below if you can tell which character these horns specifically that I'm making for this video are for. It should be obvious, but I want to see who can guess it. Because I am going to be working on these horns a little bit, so the next couple of videos that I do are going to be based around these horns, around this character, outside of obviously reviews and doing other looks. Repeat the same steps from that first horn to the second horn. And I'm not dragging the glue all the way down. I'm not gonna do that until a little bit later. Just have fun with it. Make whatever texture either you want or you think that your character has. Luckily I had reference pictures. What I'm gonna do now is carry that grain line that's on the horns throughout the entire perimeter of the base. Technically the horns are a little bit smoother on the sides, but I'm not doing an exact replica. I just want to get the idea. So it's gonna be that character stylized into my style. So it's gonna be Anastasia portraying this character. So it's going to be a little twist on the character. I can't wait to show y'all. So I'm gonna go through and add this grain line all around the base. I'm making sure that I don't just glop a bunch of glue, just because I want it to be a consistent but irregular grain line, just to keep it looking more organic. And then I'm gonna go back in and add just a very thin layer of glue to all the cracks and crevices, just to kind of like pre-prime them before I actually go out and get my primer to paint them. And I'm using the hot glue gun without any glue. I'm just using the heat that's on the tip. And I am actually kind of scoring across the dried glue that is already there. And what that's gonna do is it's going to create a texture within the hot glue that I can then later, while I'm painting, dry brush some other colors on top of, and it's gonna catch into those little grooves that I created doing that, which is going to enhance the grain line that this character has from their horns, for how they like to keep their horns maintained. I will give a little bit of information for this character. To maintain their horns, they use, I believe it's a sander or a grinder. It's one of those two. That's all I'm saying. And they like cats. Again, I'm just putting them together and seeing how well they look alike. Here is the finished product so far. These horns here were originally going to be for another character, but I'm just going to use them for a different character, just an original character. This one has one broken horn and one regular horn. It was broken in some kind of fight, some kind of tussle, you know? And then the other one is the full-size horn. These are the toilet paper rolls. I just cut them to a point, rolled them, and then slightly elevated each one. I'll probably make horns like this in the future and show y'all in another video. This pair is going to be attached to a headband, either with E6000 or sewing. And then, like I said earlier, heavy duty magnets are going to be placed on the back of these and will be held onto my wig. I will see y'all in the next one, ghoulies and beasties. Stay tuned.